movies!
We saw Second Act.
Ah, the J-Lo flick.
Yes.
Also starring, or co-starring, Leah Remini, who we love.
Or Leah Remini.
I don't know how to say her name, but I love her. She's one of my very favorite people in the world.
We had some choices. We had there were three pretty heavy, serious movies, and then there was this one, and we opted for this one for some lighter fare.
I had pretty low expectations of this movie. My expectations going to this movie was hopefully a slot above a Netflix original. Just because of what kind of movie it is. Reminds me of Katherine Heigl flicks. Those, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's a certain genre of movie that this fits into. That being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was funny and fun, and it kept me on my toes. I liked it. It was everything that I wanted this kind of movie to be, without actually being a good movie, if that makes sense. Kind of like when we went and saw, what's that movie with The Rock in it?
Skyscraper?
It's kind of like Skyscraper, but it's a different genre of movie.
Yeah.
So it's the Skyscraper of its genre.
I agree that what type of movie that I was expecting, I wasn't expecting a lot. But for me, the movie kind of fell flat. It just wasn't funny enough, bright enough, or lighthearted enough. So what do you say to people? Go wait or skip?
You know, I have to give it a wait. With the caveat saying that is, you just like to go to the movies and like these kind of movies, go see it. You know, I like to reserve goes for movies that I feel comfortable telling you should spend your hard-earned money for, right? Not this movie, but I would think that you out there, the viewer, after seeing the preview, would be probably kind of know what kind of movie it is, right? So for these reasons, you've been chopped. But no, for this reason, I have to say wait till it comes out on your favorite platform, and then settle in with some popcorn and watch a J-Lo flick. She's just Jenny from the block.
For me, I say skip. I just really it just wasn't, like I said a minute ago, funny enough or lighthearted enough for me to say warrant go seeing this movie. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So, spoilers.
Spoilers, Rachel has a Grinch heart. I like this movie because the characters were all lovable. There were quirky characters and strange characters. I thought some of the ideas in this movie were relevant, but probably oversimplistic. So relevant in that, in today's society, in today's world, today's new economy, with technology especially, you don't have to go out and get a degree today. If I had a child that was of that age, I would say, don't go get a degree. Do this other thing. Go into technology. Learn this, learn that. Because you don't have to do that. A lot of big companies, I know Google and Facebook, all those big companies now, you don't have to have a degree anymore. This movie was about nothing of that. This movie could have come out 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So it's a kind of older style movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of overly simplistic of hey, you don't have to get a degree to succeed, which is true, but it sells that to people out there who maybe didn't go to school or aren't going to go to school, and so it sells this idea to them that they're still worth something and still important and still can achieve things. And that's true, and that's a good thing to sell to people. I like the movie. I enjoyed it. I don't have any problem in saying that this is exactly the kind of movie I thought it would be. There were some surprising things that happened in this movie that I didn't see coming. And I liked that. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was made well.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't like the movie for a variety of reasons. Primary one was that I expected more humor for a movie of what I expected this to be, which is not necessarily a rom-com, but in that kind of genre of movie. And I just didn't find it lighthearted and funny enough in certain places for it to be that. And then aside from that, I also feel like Jennifer Lopez is always just herself. So she's supposed to be this person that got her GED, is from Queens, and everybody else in the movie looks like they could be a regular old person, from Queens, except for her. She just didn't fit, and then even her love interest in the movie, I didn't buy them even being together. It just didn't seem like they were together, and for me, he was the guy from the This Is Us series. And I haven't seen that show, but I've seen clips and enough to know that he's in the flashback part of that show, and he was just that guy. I couldn't see him as anything else. Storyline was just okay, and I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. The only thing I could say about it is that it dealt with a heavier topic in that, like, Jennifer Lopez's character, she had given up a child when she was 16 or 17 for adoption, and then at the end, like, this child comes back into her life. She's dealing with feelings of, like, guilt and shame, and how it's kind of affected her whole life. And I thought that was like, oh, like, if you have been through that, this movie will probably help you to process some of those feelings. But yeah, everything else was flat and kind of blah to me.
Yeah, we
so,
just
like,
disagree.
Jennifer Lopez has been in other movies. Like, I've seen Maid in Manhattan, and I've seen...
But this movie was...
so
you're saying that Maid in Manhattan was, like, better?
Saying it was, like, lighter and, like, brighter. Even visually, this movie just seemed kind of, like, dark to me. And the jokes just didn't, like, fall or land for me. I thought a lot of the characters, like the guy that was, like, the villain, like, that's just what he was. Like, characters were one-dimensional to me. And I watch, like, silly movies, like, on Netflix and, movies that have gone to TBS now and are on TV. And I just didn't, like, care for this movie.
Right.
And I love Leah Remini too, and I liked her in this movie. Like, I thought she played
I wish there
that
was a
character.
sequel with just her in it, and then Doug Heffernan was there, and then
I just would have liked her friend, who was played by J-Lo, to maybe be played by somebody else.
Really?
I just thought, like, she was just Jennifer Lopez.
But
like,
I mean, isn't
I'm like,
that the
take
same
off
thing
some of the sparkle, because
where-
like, you can't, like, you always look like this, and then you don't fit in with everybody else around you. That's
But I mean,
all that I'm
it's the same
saying.
thing as-
Like, I've seen Cameron Diaz play in a movie where I didn't even recognize her. She looked so regular and normal. It can be done. Like, I'm just saying.
I didn't get the same impression of her.
I didn't even think, like, she, like, looked, like, super glamorous all the time, but there's something about, like, the way, like, her makeup's done or something that just, she didn't look like she didn't look like her own group of friends. That's all that I'm saying.
Okay. I didn't think she looked that much different than them, because she's Jennifer Lopez. She's in the, like, top 10% of, like, overall attracted group of people. But in every group of people, there's, like, if you have 100 people, there's 10 people that are in that group. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I go see a movie, I want to be Tom Cruise or whoever, I want to be Brad Pitt. I want him to be the main character.
Well, yeah, then I'm saying make the rest of the movie more lighthearted and brighter and funnier then. But, like, I felt like the movie fell flat, and then, like, I also have these other things that just also didn't work for me. And then the last thing is that this was another, like, fairy tale movie of, like, although at the end, like, she comes clean and kind of loses it all. But it was like, oh, now I've got this big apartment and all these nice things and all this. Well, we talked about this in Crazy Rich Asians. This is the fairy tale for women to, like, accidentally fall in love with a rich guy who has a heart of gold. And so now you have all these amazing things, So for this was different because it wasn't a rom-com. Like, she, like, finally gets that job, like that promotion, and it's not just like she gets this whole job that all of a sudden she's in a penthouse with, like, all these, they do a shopping montage, she has, like, this, fully furnished apartment with all this stuff that she never had before.
But what would this movie have been without a shopping montage? I mean, this movie was guaranteed to have some kind of shopping and or dance/singing montage.
But it wasn't even enough. Like, give me that, but give me the whole thing. It was really short, and there wasn't even good music with it. And so I'm just saying, like, the movie didn't give me all that silly stuff that I wanted, and it wasn't deep enough to, like, make up for it in another way. So I felt like I was just caught in the middle, and I wasn't pleased on either side.
The Rotten Tomato score kind of illustrate what's happening on screen right now, in that some people liked it and some people didn't. It didn't break the mold as far as these type of movies go. I was actually at the end of the movie, I was like, these people, they want to do this thing, they want to make this art, they want their lives to be this, and then they make this movie. Nobody goes to film school or whatever dreaming of making these type of movies.
Well, no, because sometimes you have a job, and it's a job. And
I do the same thing when I write,
Yeah.
It's the same as a writer. There's some things that I'm like, I gotta write this and art the crap out of it, and then some things are just, like news reports or whatever, it's just like, oh, I have to do this because somebody will pay for this and they want this. So anyways, I like the movie. Heck, I'd go see it again. And so, what?
No.
You recently posted in the third person, so people think I said it, that Rachel has a Grinch heart.
I post all our stuff because it's our show, so I post it in
I
third
can't believe
person.
Kelsey said that on Rachel. And I'm like, I'm not even on there. Anyway,